In today's fast paced world, success rarely happens alone. Regardless of the type of organization you belong to, strong teams make the difference between simply getting by and truly excelling. As a new manager, one of the biggest shifts you'll experience isn't just owning outcomes, it's shaping how work gets done through other people. We are diving into group dynamics and team effectiveness, so welcome, new managers. Our agenda for this training video include the following: your training objectives, defining group dynamics and team effectiveness, why these concepts matter, practices for high-performing teams, models and frameworks to help guide you, what you as a new manager can do, and our call to action. Take it away, Nicole.
Thanks, Megan. And to start off our agenda with our training objectives, we have these three major things that we hope you take away from today's training. The first is that we hope you're able to explain the importance of strong group dynamics and team effectiveness and how they impact team performance and outcomes. Secondly, we hope that you'll be able to identify and apply practical frameworks and models that can be integrated into day-to-day team management. And lastly, we hope that you'll be able to recognize high-performing team practices and leverage tools and resources to support team effectiveness. And with that, I'm going to pass it back to Megan.
When looking at these terms, it's important to know the difference and the impact they both have. Group dynamics refer to the patterns of interaction, communication, and behavior among members of a group, whereas team effectiveness is the extent to which a team successfully achieves its goals while maintaining positive working relationships among its members. So, why does this even matter? Group dynamics and team effectiveness directly shape how employees get work done and influences the overall productivity and innovation of an organization. Here are a few examples. When looking at enhanced creativity and innovation, this can look like when employees brainstorm multiple solutions during a meeting and build off of each other's ideas. When recognizing higher employee morale and retention, this can be when your members feel comfortable sharing ideas and they feel more valued. Looking at improved productivity and efficiency is when team meets project deadlines consistently and they maintain a high quality of work. And most importantly, conflict resolution. Conflict is inevitable, but when your coworkers and team members can form disagreements through open and respectful discussion, resolve is much easier.
To demonstrate how to work effectively as a team and successfully navigate group dynamics, we would like to share this video highlighting 5 practical tips for collaboration. These strategies can help strengthen communication, build trust, improve problem solving, and create a more productive and positive team environment. As you watch, consider how these tips can be applied within your own teams to enhance performance and support stronger working relationships.
Effective teamwork is key to a successful business, as it increases productivity levels and produces better solutions to problems. Companies that foster a friendly and collaborative work environment will be the ones to succeed in the business world. For the team to succeed, each member should know what their role and responsibility is in the team and what the roles and responsibilities of others are. Team members should also make an agreement on what needs to be done and who it should be performed by. And each member must be responsible and accountable for completing their own tasks. A team that has specific goals and completion deadlines for a task will work together more effectively than a team without goals. Making decisions should be based on open dialogue, with all the members offering their ideas and solutions to problems. Members should have the team's support and commitment not only when making decisions, but also when carrying them out. With trust, members can feel comfortable taking risks to communicate, advocate positions, and take action. Team members that trust each other can also share their ideas and feelings while being respectful of others. A great way to build trust is to hang out with your coworkers outside the office and use this time to get to know each other better. A team should celebrate and accept member differences and their diverse backgrounds, as well as the value each one brings to the team. It's also important to view team members as unique individuals and concentrate on the positive attributes of each member. Try sowing a few of these seeds in your company. Find out which ones serve you best and reap the harvest of stronger teamwork.
Now that we've discussed why group dynamics and team effectiveness matter and tips for teamwork, let's focus on what high-performing teams actually do differently. Strong teams are rarely successful by accident. They are intentional about the environment and habits they create. First, they create psychological safety. This means team members feel comfortable speaking up, asking questions, sharing ideas, and even admitting mistakes without fear or judgment. When people feel safe, collaboration and innovation increase. Second, high-performing teams shape role perception by ensuring everyone clearly understands their responsibilities, how their work connects to others, and what success looks like. Clarity helps reduce confusion, overlap, and missed expectations. Third, they enable group decision-making. Effective teams use inclusive and structured approaches that encourage different perspectives while still allowing decisions to be made efficiently. This leads to stronger solutions and greater team buy-in. And then finally, they support a strong feedback culture. Team members and leaders regularly share constructive feedback to improve in performance, build trust, and adapt quickly when priorities change. As new managers, focusing on these 4 practices can help you build a team that is engaged, accountable, and positioned for long-term success. To help you apply the practices of high-performing teams, we'll review the scenario on the left before moving to the questions on the right. I'll read the scenario aloud. An HR team at a mid-sized company is responsible for rolling out a new performance management process within 6 weeks. The team includes an HR manager, 2 experienced HR business partners, and 2 newer team members. Early on, meetings feel unproductive. One senior team member dominates discussions while the newer team members hesitate to contribute. Roles and responsibilities are unclear, resulting in duplicated work on policy documentation and missed deadlines for manager training materials. As pressure builds, the manager becomes more direct and the teams begin operating in silos rather than as a cohesive unit. Now, let's review the questions together. First question is, which practices would have the biggest immediate impact on the team's effectiveness and why?
Clarifying roles would have the biggest immediate impact on the team because of the duplicated work and missed deadlines. These are symptoms of unclear roles and a lack of accountability. Clarified roles encourages clear communication and efficient work streams for the team.
Those are great ideas on practices that would help this team succeed. Megan, another question for you. What is one action the manager could take to improve group dynamics on the team?
One action the manager could take to improve group dynamics on the team would be to enable group decision making. Everyone would be expected to contribute, and allowing diverse perspectives would encourage creativity and efficiency.
Thank you. Totally agree with your approach to the situation and actions that would improve the group dynamics on the team. Now, I'll pass it over to Cameron.
Thank you, Mariah. In this next section, we're going to focus on practical frameworks and models that you can use in everyday team settings. These tools are helpful because they give structure to how teams develop, communicate, and perform. Instead of guessing what's going wrong or right within a team, these models help us better understand team dynamics and how to improve them. I'll start by walking through Tuckman's 5 stages of group development, which focuses on how teams grow over time. Then Zach will walk us through the GRPI model, which helps break down what makes a team effective on a more day-to-day level. Together, these models give us both a big picture and a practical way to support team success. Starting with Tuckman's model, there are 5 stages teams typically move through. The first stage is forming, where the team is just coming together and people are getting to know each other. For example, this might look like a new project team meeting for the first time and everyone being polite but still a little bit unsure of their roles and responsibilities. Next is storming, where differences in opinions or working styles can create tension. For instance, team members might disagree on how to approach a project or who should take the lead on certain tasks. Then comes norming, where the team starts to build trust and improve communication. At this stage, you might see people stepping more into their roles and supporting each other. After that is performing, where the team is working effectively towards shared goals. Finally, there is adjoining, which is when the team wraps up their work and the project is complete. Understanding Tuckman's 5 stages of group development is important because it helps us recognize that team growth is a process and not something that just happens instantly. Each stage plays a role in how a team develops. For example, conflict during the storming stage might feel negative, but it's actually a normal and necessary step for teams to grow and improve. Instead of avoiding it, teams can learn how to work through it productively. Overall, this framework helps improve teamwork, communication, and performance. It sets realistic expectations and allows teams to move forward more effectively instead of getting stuck up when challenges come. Now that we've looked at how teams develop over time, I'll pass it over to Zach, who will walk through the GRPI model, which focuses more on what teams need in place to be effective day to day.
Thank you, Cameron. Another model that we can use to our advantage is the GRPI model, which was developed by Richard Beckard. As you can see, GRPI stands for goals, roles, processes, and interpersonal relationships, all of which can help us to understand what makes a team effective or ineffective. This model shows us that oftentimes team issues are not due to lack of talent, but by conflict in one or more of those areas. Looking at the yellow arrow on the far left side of the graphic, you can also see how these areas are meant to be considered in a certain order. First, teams need clear goals set in place, then well-defined roles, followed by efficient and effective processes, and finally, strong, trusting relationships with one another. If any one of these areas is struggling, it can quickly and negatively impact any of the other areas. So, GRPI was developed to give managers a simple way to diagnose where a team could be struggling. Back to you, Cameron.
Thank you. Now that you guys have a better understanding of these two models, we're going to walk through a scenario and some questions to apply what you've learned. The scenario is an HR team forms a cross-functional group to improve the company's hiring process. Early on, the team struggles with unclear goals and hesitancy. As work progresses, conflict emerges due to unclear roles and competing priorities like speed versus fairness. The first question that we ask: explain which of Tuckman's stages of group development the HR team is currently in.
The team is currently in the storming stage of Tuckman's group's stages of group development, as members are experiencing tension caused by unclear roles and responsibilities related to improving the hiring process, along with conflicting views on which priorities the team should focus on first. At this stage, disagreements and uncertainty are common as individuals work through expectations and begin defining how they will collaborate effectively.
Thanks, Mariah. Another question for you. How can the GRPI model help the HR team resolve their challenges?
Certainly. Using the GRPI model as a guide, the team should first establish clear goals to align on what they would want to achieve. Next, they should define roles and responsibilities so each member understands their ownership and contributions to the project. The team should then create effective processes for communication, including meeting cadence, progress updates, follow-up actions, and decision-making methods. Finally, strengthening relationships and building personal connections among team members can help improve trust, collaboration, and the team's ability to work together successfully.
Thanks for another great answer, Mariah. So now that we've talked about a couple of new frameworks and diagnosing team issues, you might be wondering, what can managers actually do to improve their team's effectiveness? Well, first, clarifying goals and roles should be of the utmost importance, making sure the team understands its purpose, top priorities, and who is responsible for what. Tools such as a team charter, where team members define all those things on a shared document, can certainly help to create that clarity. Another action managers can take is to improve team processes. There's many ways to do this, but some common ones include establishing clear meeting agendas, deliberate decision making, and consistently following up with all members of your team. This helps teams to communicate better and stay more coordinated. And lastly, it's important that managers build trust and a feeling of psychological safety in their teams and workplaces as a whole. They can do this by encouraging open communication, setting clear team norms, and organizing spaces where all team members can share their ideas and concerns. Together, all of these actions will help to develop a more aligned, efficient, and effective team. It's all yours, Nicole.
Thanks, Zach. Now that we've made it most of the way through this training video, we hope that you can take the information and resources we provided for you and apply them to the previously mentioned learning objectives. We hope that you can now explain the importance of strong group dynamics and team effectiveness. You should now be able to identify and apply practical frameworks like the one and models like the ones we mentioned earlier and integrate them into your day-to-day team management. And you now should have the ability to recognize high-performing team practices and leverage tools and resources to support team effectiveness. You should also be able to recognize when your team isn't performing highly and use the resources provided to guide your team towards a higher performing level. Now, you might be asking yourself, what can I do on a daily basis to support team effectiveness? And to answer that question, we've provided 3 daily practices that can help support and encourage your team. And this is your call to action. First, we ask you to lead with clarity. Like Zach had mentioned with the GRPI model, clarifying roles and goals within the group is essentially important to the productivity and success of your team. Secondly, it's extremely important to build psychological safety within your team. Employees who feel uncomfortable or unsafe are less likely to speak up and give you input, which can help with innovation and the overall success of your team. Lastly, you should model the behaviors you expect your staff to act on. You are their model, and you mold the team to be what you want. So modeling the behaviors is the best way to do that. Next, we want to provide a couple more resources for you to use as you continue your career in management. The first is Harvard Business Review's 10 must-reads for new managers. The Harvard Business Review's 10 must-reads for new managers offers guidance on how to successfully manage others and provides skills and tactics to properly lead when you're first starting out. Secondly, we recommend Dare to Lead by Brené Brown. It serves as a guide to creative leaderships and offers a framework that can be used to develop effective leaderships, and also has a lot of discussion about psychological factors that play into successful team management. Lastly, we just wanted to end off the video with a nice quote from Henry Ford that states, "Coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success." And thank you for attending this training, and we hope that we provided you information and resources you can use throughout your career.